Hello and welcome back to On the Rocks. Hope you're all doing well today and looking forward to today's episode as we take on Hibs and Motherwell in the Scottish Premier League. But it's also the middle of January. It's time to talk about some January transfers. First things first though, would massively appreciate it if you guys could drop a like on today's video for me, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and of course leave a comment down below for the algorithm. Now yesterday we didn't actually do an On The Rocks episode because we did an experiment instead. Obviously to make up for that we'll do an episode of this on Saturday, so you still get your 5 episodes a week of On The Rocks. I think going forward as well, I quite like having Wednesday as a day to just do something slightly different for growth and things like that. So I think Wednesdays might be an experiment day, as are Sundays, and then we do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday for On The Rocks. How does that sound? Anyway, heading into today's episode properly, let's have a look at what's happened since you guys were last here, since the loss to Arsenal and the rather embarrassing draw to Dundee United. That was not fantastic. Since then, though, it's been pretty decent. A 1-0 win against Hamilton with Lewis Ferguson scoring in the final minutes of the game. He made up for his missed penalty earlier on in the game, so luckily he did manage to get the goal in the end, which was fantastic. We then beat St Mirren 2-0, which was a very good result for us, before unfortunately losing to Celtic 2-0 just before the winter break. The friendly against Dundalk doesn't really matter, it was a winter break friendly, so nothing really special with that one, but we did get back to winning ways right at the start after the winter break. A 5-1 victory over Falkirk in the Scottish Cup 4th round. We're going to try and go on a run in that this season, and we followed up with a 2-1 victory over St Johnstone in the Scottish Premiership. Today's game against Hibs is a big one because we currently sit third in the table, as you can see, 4 points ahead of Hibs. So winning today and beating them puts 7 points between us. If we lose, there's only 1 point between us. So it's a big, big game for us. As you can see, Celtic are far and away at the top of the table, so they've probably got that league title wrapped up. Rangers are probably wrapped up in second as well. So really the battle for us is third place again. The thing is though, last season we had 18 draws in total. This season we've only had 5, and we've had 13 wins compared to last season's 16 wins. So we should be getting a lot more wins this season, a lot less draws, and a lot more points, fingers crossed. We will talk about transfers in between the two games. First things first, I just want to get kicked off against Hibs because it's a big game and it's what we're here for. This is the team that should be taking on Hibs today and should be winning. Lewis starts in goal as per usual with a backline of Davies, McIntyre, Hoban and Hernandez, who is back from his loan at Atlanta United. He was there for 2 seasons, made 9 appearances in that time. Terrible. But he's back and looks pretty decent as a right back, so we will use him and try and get him to play some decent football for us. He's playing there right now because Ethan Laird is currently injured, as you can... Is it? Yeah, he's injured. I was looking down here for his fitness and didn't say anything about injuries. He is injured. He's got a cold and he's at home right now with his cold, so he's not actually available to play. I sent him home because I didn't want him to infect the rest of the squad, so, you know, I guess that's a good thing. We've got one player back from Atlanta United in Hernandez, but we have also lost a player to Atlanta United. Brooks Lenn's gone back at the end of his loan and he doesn't want to come back again, so I guess in like 6 months' time, he'll want to come back to us again when he realises he's not getting any game time at Atlanta. So right now, we've got Mckinnon starting on the right wing. The midfield duo is Ferguson and McCrory today. Alan Campbell sitting on the bench for this one. Gordon, with his 14 goals so far this season, starts on left wing, with Shankland and PK starting up front. We sort of shifted away from the target man a little bit, and Shankland and PK working together really nicely, with PK now outscoring Shankland this season with 12 goals to his name. He's also got 7.74 in his last 5 games, so I feel like we just can't not start him, essentially. So let's give PK a go and see how he does today. So as kickoff is upon us here today, you'll love to see it, we are hopefully going to be picking up the whole 3 points today with a great team performance. I want a hat-trick from PK, I want a hat-trick of assists from Shankland, a couple of goals from him would go pretty nicely too, and hopefully it's going to start right now as the rain-soaked pitch is taking a pounding. That's what am I talking about? I was trying to make some sort of like metaphor, analogy. I don't know where I was going with that one, if I'm honest with you. But Mckinnon on the ball right now for us, puts it into PK, who isn't going to get the thirst of his goals like that. And as the first half continues onwards, we're half an hour into it now, and only the second highlight of the game is going towards us, fingers crossed, as Hernandez makes a good interception and plays it forward to Gordon. That's a fantastic pass, I must say, across the field, as Gordon cuts inside, into Shankland, into Ferguson, out to Davies. Davies to put it in the middle. Shankland's there, just misses it out a little bit. And it's gone. What was that, boys? Come on. That's not a highlight. That's just like a a passing opportunity. Was it even a shot on target? I don't even know. And so with that, it looks like we are going to be going into the half-time break 0-0, which is not ideal. 8 shots to 1 shot. We're on top of this game massively, but we can't get the ball in the back of a net. Potentially, if PK and Shanklin can't score goals, we have to bring Campbell on to see what he can do and see if he can get any more goals to add to his tally. I think he's just about in double figure. I can't remember. I think he's on like maybe 12 himself. I don't know. If that had gone in the back of a net, I'd have been very, very cross. But luckily, Joe Lewis on hand to save it. The time is coming, though, with 25 minutes or so to go. PK's played worse, so let's swap him and Shankland over. And then we will get Campbell on instead as that deep lying. Let's make him a target man instead. All right, let's go back to the target man. See what happens if we make him a target man. Lewis Ferguson having a poor game out there, so Alan Campbell will come on instead. Highlight for us, Hernandez into the middle. The keeper punches it clear, rather weirdly. Not a catch, he punches it clear, but it's working out well for Hibs as they look to come forward, although we've kind of stopped their counter-attack nicely, but they still pump the ball forward. Who's marking Nesbitt? No one. Oh, how's that? That's just so frustrating. I can't believe this. It's 14th of the season, fair play, but I mean, the defensive errors there were atrocious. And what's that? Hibs' second shot of the game, third shot of the game. Who's marking Nesbitt? I don't know. It's a great last-ditch challenge there, to be fair, from the shot. We're very unlucky with the bounce, and Joe Lewis does nothing about it, essentially. There we go. Hibs' third shot on target goes in the back of the net. We've been dominant today, and yet nothing is happening right now. Let's go a little bit more attacking with some of our play. Let's get an advanced playmaker on the pitch. Maybe swap those two over to do that. Wing-backs on attack as well. Let's try this one out. Let's go just more attacking. We scored a goal. When the highlights were going on, we've scored a goal. Now, someone asked me in the comment section the other day, why don't I pause when tactics go on? It's because I like to live life on the edge, but also I never think that goals are going to happen when I'm doing highlights and tactics, I should say. Hernandez puts the ball in the middle and Shanklin just gets a nice touch on it to put it in the back of the net. So, with 18 minutes to go, game on. Although you can always guarantee now there'll be no more highlights for the rest of the game, despite us going fairly attacking with this one. There's a chance for us now, though. Gordon with a free... If he scores his free kick, I'll marry him. I'm not marrying him. But as the clock ticks down, well, this is an opportunity we have really missed today. 17 shots, 10 on target, and yet Hibs have held out for a draw. That's not good enough. Not at all, particularly with Rangers and Celtic winning. If we want to have any chance of catching them up, we've got to win games. But we're now 19 points behind Celtic and 9 points behind Rangers. It's probably not going to happen. So let's rest the team, and then once we've done that, let's talk about transfers. So I've already been busy, and I've signed 3 players for next season already, although 2 of them probably won't have much of an impact next season. Vontae, Daley, Campbell, coming in from Leicester, is a wing-back on the right, and I like his physicals, and I think we can improve his technicals. The issue is, he's not ready yet. He will probably end up going on loan next season, and then we'll try and get him back the season afterwards to be like a starting right back, fingers crossed. We've also picked up Cole Mckinnon from Rangers. I guess some Rangers fans out there will know all about this guy. He looks very good where things matter right now. But again, he's young. He's not quite good enough yet. We'll send him on loan for a season. He'll come back and be ready to play for us, hopefully in the next season afterwards. But the one player who will be coming in next season as a, I guess, key player is Ben Knight from Man City. He is a right winger who already looks very, very good. 14 dribbling, 14 finishing, 15 first touch, 14 technique. Physicals are really good too with 15 pace and 14 acceleration. He has all the fundamentals to be a great winger. He's only 19. He's going to get better. He's coming to us on a free transfer. I think we're going to see a quality player in him next season. So I'm really pleased about this transfer so far, but of course these guys aren't coming in until next season. There are quite a lot of players available to us right now with only 6 months left on their contracts that we can sign on some pre-contracts right now. The issue is for some of them, work permits for example, that's going to be difficult, but this guy right here, Alex I can't say his name. Alex Corredera, we've been scouting him out for a little while and apparently we've not. I mean, this says we've got no information on him. He is decent. We've got 4-star from our scouts right now. I do like what I see. His physicals aren't brilliant, really, but he's got some good mentals, some very good technicals where they matter, and he kind of fills the gap where we have no real proper playmaker in our team. And so I want to try and get him in for next season. The issue is, I don't know if he'll get a work permit because he's Spanish and has never made any international appearances, and he's on a lot of money already at Badajoz, but we can only try, right? So approach to sign, nothing warning us down here about a work permit or anything like that. Regular starter, suggest he's happy with that. Finalise the promise, negotiate the contract, and yes, this is when it comes up with the warnings about not getting a work permit, and he's not going to get one. So this is going to be one of the biggest issues, right? Just not being able to get players on work permits. Now, we can get around this by adding in a clause here. Work permit required? No. Which is good. So these players don't require any work permits because they're either English or they've got nationality in England, or you know what I mean. The issue is the best players available to us are on a lot of money. Now these players apparently are all interested in joining us. So Fabian Delph interested in joining us. You love to see it, but not on 90 grand a week. We can't afford that. John Swift on 25 grand. We can't afford it. Jack Robinson on 25. We can't afford these players. They're solid, but we can't afford them. One player I'm currently umming and ahhing over a little bit is Jason Kerr from St Johnstone. Do we like him? He's a little slow, but he's got a good heading, good marking, good tackling, good positioning. Everything else is pretty good on the mental side of things. If we compare him with our best centre-back, Tom McIntyre, you can see he's just not quite as good. He's better attacking-wise, but we don't need attacking because he's a defender. He's got slightly better vision, so I guess he's got a slightly better pass on him, but he's not as physical. Everywhere else is pretty similar. And this is the thing. Will another Tom McIntyre help us beat Celtic and Rangers? I don't think so. We need someone better than him. That's my thinking at least. But can we get anyone better? I don't know. He would come in my opinion, to be the second best centre-back at the club. They say Ross McCrory is the best centre-back at the club. He's just a fantastic player that plays more in midfield. I don't really see him as a centre-back. Although he is very, very good there, right? He can play there comfortably. I see him more as a CDM midfielder. So I don't really see him as a permanent centre-back. So this guy would come in, right, as the second best centre-back at the club. So maybe it just is worth a punt, right? Let's just offer him a contract. How much does he want? Regular starter. At least we'll have some... He could be backup at worst. Backup at worst for next season. So let's remove that sell-on percentage fee. Remove the unused substitute fee. He only wants 1.1 grand a week. That's very cheap. Suggest terms. He's happy with that. Let's bring him in. If we edit the search and just look for young players, right, instead, who are like under 23 years old, there's no one really right now who we've scouted out who's interested in coming to us who is going to fit the first team and be a star. But if we look at potential, which is what I was doing for the players we brought in already, there are some players here that I think could do a job. Now, Mark McGuinness is one, another centre-back, and again, we can sort of develop him and hope he's decent. The technicals really worry me massively, but I love the heading, the jumping reach, the marking. I love everything apart from the rest of the technicals that don't matter too much to a centre-back. I think the issue with him, though, is that he doesn't want to sign any contracts yet, so we'll have to wait on Mark McGuinness. I also quite like Morgan Boys from Liverpool. However, he's more of a fullback, so his crossing and dribbling are atrocious, and I like having wing-backs and fullbacks who are very good at crossing and dribbling. But again, he's only 20 years old. We could maybe develop him and, you know, improve that crossing and dribbling, and he's got some good marking, passing and tackling. Like, he's good at defending, but I don't think... Well, maybe we do need a good defender. We can have one person on one side attacking, and then just someone... I don't know. How much does he want? He wants to be a squad player on... 5 grand. Okay, that's a bit too much for a squad player, and I don't think he's all that good, so let's walk away. But as you can see, there is some decent stuff that we're working with right now. With £8.5 million in the bank balance right now, projection-wise 7.13 by the end of the season, we should have a decent budget next summer. So, Motherwell up next. Do we want to make any changes to the lineup? Yes, I think we bring Alan Campbell on for Ferguson for this game to see how he performs instead. We'll leave PK and Shankland on the pitch, but I want to take Mckinnon off for Ryan Hedges, see how he plays on the right-hand side. But other than that, we will leave everything as it is, submit the team, and head out to the game. We need a much better display today. You know, we just didn't make the most of our chances against Hibs. We can't slip up against Motherwell, who are currently 7th in the table. Today, we have to take our chances and make sure we bury every single shot. First highlight of the game, though, is going towards Motherwell, which you hate to see. Although, as they bring the ball forward, we are holding them up quite nicely. Can we get a challenge in here and stop them from getting it into the area? No, because they've nearly scored a goal. That was not great from us. Come on, Aberdeen, get into gear. We've got Europa Conference League football coming up. If we want to have a chance of getting past Montpellier, we need to be beating teams like Motherwell, all right? Now, we've not checked on Montpellier, but I think their form is still a little bit iffy. So I'm kind of hoping if we can just get in some good form before the Montpellier game, that might just carry us through and we can get into the second knockout round, which is obviously the dream for us. Campbell gets the ball out to Hernandez, though he puts it in the middle, collected by the keeper. But will the highlight continue before half-time comes around? By the looks of things, it's going to. We win possession back nicely with Hedges coming forward. Ball into PK's good. PK out wide into Shankland. Shot blocked. Campbell, PK, Campbell, Davies in the middle. Shankland's there. Shankland scores. Somehow it gets to Shankland and goes in the back of the net. PK giving the assist there as well. But at least we are 1-0 up before half-time. It was great passing from everyone around here. Just so much passing going on. One-touch football. And everything one-touch football. PK just gets a little knock on it from his header there. Down to Shankland nicely. And it's a beautiful goal. Did I hear someone calling us Brazil? No, I didn't. Just me. In the meantime, though, Motherwell trying to get one back before half-time, and they're not going to do it like that. An easy shot for Joe Lewis to collect, and we head into the break 1-0 up. All right, good stuff. Very happy with how we are performing right now. We just need to keep it up to get the 3 points. Now, Hibs are not playing right now. I thought they're losing because they're not moved up in points, but they're not playing right now, which is, I guess, a good thing. I don't know. It's maybe a good thing. Maybe it's not a good thing. What is a good thing is Anthony Gordon getting his 15th of the season. And now, let's talk about Anthony Gordon and some of the players we've had in on loan this season. Gordon, Laird, and Leif Davies, they've all been excellent to the point where I want them back next season. Especially Gordon when he's got 15 goals to his name. The thing is, though, because we are where we are at the top level of Scottish football, we need to be improving every single season. And will getting those same players back actually help us improve? Or should we be looking for players who are better than the players that we've already got in on loan? And this is the question, because it makes sense to not concede goals. It also makes sense to get players who are better than the players we've already got right. But Gordon's got 15 goals this season. Not many of the players are going to be able to come in and get 15 goals. And speaking of Gordon, it just popped up on my screen there that he's picked up a knock and Campbell should come on instead. Let's do it. Assistant manager, do it. Get Campbell on instead. Let's hold the game out for the next 4 minutes. We need the... Oh, no. We can't hold out for a win, can we? Or can we? Hedges, come on. Get forward quickly. Get a goal out of this one as he finds Shankland. Shankland shoots. Shankland scores, confirming the 3 points are coming back to Aberdeen with us. All right, pretty happy with that one. I think overall, although we did draw to Hibs, it's been a pretty decent episode, so I'm pretty happy. Again, this season is sort of turning out to be the race for third. We did think right at the start maybe we could challenge Celtic and Rangers, but they just are so much better than us still. But every season, we are edging closer, and we're not too... We got 65 points last season, right? Was it 65 points we got last season? Let me have a look. 66 we got from 38 games. We've got 15 games to go, and we're not that far off the points. We're going to get many more points this season. So we're in the right direction. We're moving in the right direction, just not quite as good as Celtic and Rangers yet. So that's going to bring an end to today's episode. But next time, it's the big one. We're back for Montpellier, Hamilton, and Montpellier in the Europa Conference League knockout rounds. This is where it's going to get really exciting. If we can get through that, that would be fantastic. Now, Rangers have done a great job. They're currently in the Europa League still in the first knockout round, and they're playing against AC Milan. So difficult game there. And Celtic in the Europa League tops their group with Bayer Leverkusen, Karabag and Getafe. So they go straight into the second knockout round of the Europa League. So it's looking pretty decent right now for Scottish teams in Europe, the three that are left, us, Celtic and Rangers. And fingers crossed we can boost the coefficients. In fact, can we see it? We're currently on 35.7 points and Austria are on less points than us, as are, is that Turkey and Belgium, and not quite the Netherlands, and we're very close to Russia. So actually, next season, we could be seeing a bit of an increase up. If we carry on playing well and get into later stages, we should be on the up next season. But of course, that is going to bring an end to today's episode. So thank you ever so much for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. And of course, if you have done, make sure you do drop a like on today's video for me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And I will see you next time. Have a good one. Goodbye.